Good morning, everyone. We're going through a few different things in this video. We've got some of the questions from YouTube. We've got my team heading into the buys, and I thought that was a good time to have a little look at where we're at. And when you are making trades over the next bunch of weeks, the decision is not just about who's going to score the most points in the near future. It's not just about who's going to make the most cash. It becomes, how do you set yourself up for this buy period, and how many trades you're going to have to use to get a good team each and every week. And now for my team there, I'm sitting with not the best spot at sort of 7 or 8, and that depends on if Corey Horsburgh does make the Origin side or not. And it puts my wing fullbacks one short. My centers are currently set up with Toya and Tamale. But again, this is all pre-trades. We've got Sandon Smith in the halves, which isn't ideal. My edges are Wong and Nicholson, and potentially Horsburgh in the mids. So when you look at that, you go, wow, there's a lot of guns sitting on your emergencies for that week, or they'd be in the starting team and not scoring any points with Terrell May, Couchman, Cleary, Campbell, Yo, Haas, Watson. Dylan Egan's a gun, right? Stafford in the centre is absolutely crushing it. So lots of different guys that are missing out, and I still think that you can wait a little bit. Just a little bit of alpha here. When I did my review of my side, for those that do remember, I did say that I think I prepped a little bit too early last year. And there were a couple of guys that once I got set for the first major buy, that I did actually want to sell out of my side for the buy period. But because I'd set up that week or two early, it left me with no room to actually trade those guys, because there was no point making that move, as it just kept pushing me to use trades. I'd already used a fair few by that point. And then it was guys like Cotter that I held for probably a little bit too long. And there were other guys with that cash that I could have gone to that performed better across those weeks. And that is a mistake that I probably hopefully won't make this year. And there are a few guys that are the top tier guns that, are missing a few weeks in a row, and then are going to, do they back up? They miss 15 and 18, and that's Isaiah Yo, and that's Nathan Cleary. We have Connor Watson in my side that, he's going to miss round 10, and he's very, very likely to be the number 14 for New South Wales. So he'll miss 13. They then have two other standalone buys in there. So he basically, I think, misses 6 out of the next 9 from round 12, and that doesn't include round 10 as well. So it's a pretty wild setup for players like him. And what that does for my side is actually open up a bit of an opportunity to spread their cash to other guys. Someone else you could have a look at is Payne Haas at that extremely high price. And if you use the cash from a few of these players, you can spread a lot of guns across your 13 on each of those weeks. There's a few other things to think of. Round 13, you look at my squad there, and I've got there 7 or 8 for round 12, and they've just written too many, because I have literally a full book, a full 21 available for 13 spots, and we don't need it, because we're going to have 5, 6, depending on people backing up is obviously the big one, but you might have 5 or 6 mids available for round 13. And if you then currently I have 1, maybe 0 available mids. If I'm not selling some of those top tier guns in that midsection for the following week in round 13, let's just give it a bit of an example, right? Yo backs up, Haas backs up, May's there. They're your 3. So if you've got Horse there, he doesn't make the side. If Watson's still sticking in the side, he could play at hooker, but then you're missing out on Mamazelis, who's doing really well. I have to then decide between Couchman, Wong, Nicholson, Egan. Again, this is all just based off the side that I have right now, but you need to have a little bit of think about how you're going to set up best. And for round 13, for me, I may be looking to select a couple of people that have a buy in round 13. So I might be buying them for round 12 to get a score there, and then they actually miss round 13. So just so that it makes it easier to get that 13 on the park. And what it actually will allow you to do is loop in position as well, which will, when we get closer to round 12 and 13, sorry guys, especially round 13 there, what you'll see is, you can pop a guy that's not playing in that exact position. If you have 3 available for one position, or 5 available for mids, you can potentially do a loop in that slot, which is hard to explain right now without it in front of us. And when the week's here, we'll definitely go through that. So round 13 becomes difficult in the way that you're going to have a good team on the park, but you may be wasting players sitting on your bench and your interchange that actually aren't going to take a score from you. And that player, they could be playing for you around 13 and 14, but they miss 15, and that's the week that you need him. Or they miss 12, and that's the week that you need them. So that's where looking at a couple of those guys that play around 12, miss 13, and there's only a few teams available, 3 in each of them in 13, 16, and 19. It's something you need to look at. And I think is probably the main strategy that you need to focus on. How can I get as many good players in each of those minor buy rounds? 12, 13, major and minor. 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 19. Because that'll push you forward a long way up the ranks. And maybe it is selling a couple of those Origin guys to get players in your side that can be in there for a longer period of time and be scoring players for you in the weeks that matter. So round 13, you probably have enough good players. Round 16, you probably have enough good players that if you have one of these guys that are important for you in 12, 15, or 18, you can cover them in that week and only lose out on 5 or 10 points. But in round 12, 15, or 18, you're either saving trades or you're getting an extra 20 or 30 or 40 points. So it can be really massive. And then round 14 there, you've got some Roosters on bye. And look, a few of them will be important, but they also miss 2 weeks here in this section. They miss round 10, but then they miss 14 and 17. So they'll be important from that standpoint that you get them in 12, 15, and 18. But how many of these guys like Sandon Smith, like Rob Toya, like Siwa Wong, how long are we going to want to have them in our sides as well? So keep all this in mind. I just thought that would be a good thing to touch on in today's video, given we weren't able to have Mitch or Matt on early this week. So we'll have them back, and at least you'll get this one for your Thursday morning before the big long weekend. I hope all of you guys have plenty of fun there. And then I just popped it underneath this section here, the goods. That's where I've got all my personal notes and the things that I'm looking and potentially trying to do in my side, where I'm trying to get at the players I'm missing, just putting it all out on paper here. And I've just brought over these 2 slides here, these 2 sections, and left out the whole right section with all my good stuff that I have to leave for the private crew. Obviously, they pay me their hard earned for the goods, and that's why it's called that. So when you're looking at the buy section as well, it's really helpful when you're plugging in your players in your sides. That's why I've got it in underneath. And that's where you can look at potentially some Bulldogs, some Dolphins, some Sharks in your side, and some of these teams that we have been speaking about already that do play in round 12. There's a few that play across a multitude of the major buys, and the Eagles are one of them. Raiders play the first few, which is helpful, and there's a few different ways you can look at it. So get that up. I just made this myself at the start of the year, so there's a bunch of different pictures and stuff out there that you can look up that NRL Fantasy put together. So check that out. That'll be good for you as well. Now let's move over to one of the legends sent me this beautiful screenshot with notes. So I had to talk about it on video. So thank you very much for the 2 cows, 1 gun. But he's got a few options here. Munster and Tamale, Campbell and Tedesco. That's pretty hot, that one. Tamale, Munster, Seyfarth, Fafita, Burton, Tedesco. That's pretty cool as well. And then Tamale, Munster, Seyfarth to Teddy, Dewey, and Fafita. He's got 488k in the bank, only banked to 1 trade so far, but that's why he can do these hectic trades and sitting just inside the top 10k. His final option was Seyfarth and Tamale to Teddy and Fafita, holding Munster. Keen to lock Teddy in for major buy rounds, okay. Would love Campbell, but then I can't get Fafita. The question is, do I lock in a Fogarty for buys? If I do that, I still can't get Fafita. Other options, Burton, who also plays all 3 major buys, or Dewey to get Fafita in. If I make 2 trades, I'd hold Tamale. Any other suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Enjoy your trip, JB. Thank you very much. Well, I think the first thing you need to look at, brother, is where you need help in the side. And looking down at wing, fullback, and centre, you're not in the worst shape at all. So that's where I do think probably just one of those 2 guys is pretty helpful for your side, where you've got Garrick, Pappenhausen, and then a Teddy or a Campbell. It sounds like Teddy might be your favourite. Your half position, yes, you don't have Campbell, so maybe improving your half works well here as well. So it's Fogarty, potentially Burton. They could be the play for you. And then in your edge position, you've got Wong and Nicholson, who if you do keep for this next period of time, those two guys there will play for you in round 12. And then Fafita becomes that really good, improved, scorer in that position for the other weeks when they have buys and things like that. So that's probably where the double wing fullback probably doesn't help. But in that scenario, you could have Campbell as your half and Teddy as your wing fullback. So when I say you don't need the two wing fullbacks, you just move Campbell up into that half slot and he'd do a really good job for you. So that's where the two trades really makes it easy. I'm assuming in that top one you can't do Seyfarth, unfortunately, and that's where you get Teddy and Fafita. So I think that it's probably the final option, Seyfarth and Tamale to Teddy and Fafita, or the top one there, Munster and Tamale, hold Seyfarth another week, and he'll be someone they use to trade over the next few weeks anyway. The other three options down below, they're helpful for you, definitely. Dewey does play a role. It doesn't sound like you're too excited to grab him, and if you really were, I'd say, yep, go for that bottom one. But you're more keen on Teddy, so I think he's, as you can see, he's definitely in all of your trades. And then I think Campbell's probably the best fit, but do you feel like you want to improve your big buys now, or do you want to wait a little bit longer and get Burton after a bit of a price drop, potentially get Fogarty? A couple of different options for you in that one. So I hope that made it a bit clearer, and I think you're on the right track, so I think you can make your final decision from that one. Alrighty. And the last one, just some of the comments just before I jump off. And cough's been killing me, so I feel like it coming on at all times. Fafita or Couchman? Fafita probably feels more pressing this week after the really big score, and we know that he has the massive scores in him, so that's where he could be better. Not getting Fafita because I'm pretty solid on edge, and that's another really important reason to have a look at there, is that I'm sitting with a similar situation with Nicholson and Wong and these types of guys there. So yeah, that's where that works. Nicholson to Fafita. Look, he can go a week early, but I don't love it. I think if Nicholson keeps playing 80 minutes, then you want him back, or you'll regret trading him. Do you think regardless if Tarpany is overpriced, it doesn't actually matter because he's crucial for round 12 and he may have other fires to put out come round 10 to 12? Yep. Yeah, I do agree. That's a good counterpoint to what I was mentioning in the Best Buys video. Is Sandon and Hamish Stewart to Fafita and Campbell a good upgrade? Yes, of course it is. Is he being silly on me? What's he got 600k in the bank? Thoughts on Horse and Nicholson with Hosking being back this week? We'll find out. To be honest, we will find out. Don't know. I think Horse will be fine. He's not playing big minutes anyway. I'll see my Vaimaga for longer term. Neither right now. I need a backup for a centre, or else I won't be able to play a full 17. Thoughts on this Tamale, Sandon, Smith, and Hubner for Dave Fafita, Katonga, and Hugo? Yeah, fine. Can I captain David? Yes. Hopefully it's okay. I don't know why you'd want to. Like, you've got May, you've got Haas that are absolutely dominant. David could go hit a 45. Jamie's okay if you could put the people who you're talking about, please, on the red line. Where we skip it would be really helpful. I would, brother, but I'm on holidays. It's a bit extra work, so I'm lucky to get the videos out, but I do appreciate it. If one of you guys can do timestamps, that would be awesome. Can someone explain what the priced at numbers mean, please? I'm so confused. So it says it on the screen, mate. 670k is a 50 average. So when we say price point, that's that. I think 600k was 44. So it works out to be like near 13.5k per point, if that helps. Something like that, whatever it is in the 13s. And 600k was 44. 730 is like, what's that, near 50, near 55, that type of stuff. So yeah, hope that helps. Don't trade Bo. We will want him soon. We will want Bo soon, for sure. Fafita break even low enough to pick him up now. Yep. Seyfarth to Fafita, Tamale to Preston are these good upgrades. Yep. Worth going Haas to Seyfarth. That'll do for answering questions today. Thanks so much, guys, for jumping into this one. My next video that will come out will be my trades for Fantasy and for Supercoach.